Headrummer doesn't get the respect, right?
Oh, absolutely not.
Exactly not, dude.
Absolutely not.
No way.
See, but like, I don't feel like I'd have to beat him up. You know what I mean? Like, he's kind like he's just like there's almost like a peace level there. You can't hurt him.
Man, you already know this episode started.
Yep.
Yeah, Dex put his hands together and everything. He was so happy.
Look.
No, like here's the thing. The fact that I took a little bit long to put Mega's cam in delayed the start. So like we know we're talking about beating up. We don't know what kind of level of beating up we're talking about.
Doug, I think I'm gonna start billing you for every time that me saying some shit out of context is the intro, because it feels like it's me a lot. Your Honor.
It is you a lot. This is true. This
It
is
is
a
you a
little
lot.
targeted, Dex.
It's not targeted. It's just whenever Mega brings something up, it's normally
Dex,
funny.
Hating women confirmed. I'm canceling you just like I'm canceling
That's
Fletch.
crazy.
I mean, hey, you did a pretty good job of canceling Fletch since he's barely
Yeah,
done
that bro,
anything this
that
year.
bro is gone.
No, he's quite literally doing a land for COD this week.
Oh,
Which
nice.
is awesome.
Bro, he literally was doing Overwatch stuff the other day. Like, listen, bro, you think bro is out the scene? Your eyes are closed. Bro's cooking.
No, I don't think he's out the scene. It's just like I haven't seen him around where normally he would cast in a while. That's all I'm saying.
Usually I flex for him once in a while, and
Yeah.
it just has not happened this season. I'm so used to it.
Yeah, and every time I've had the opportunity to cast with him this season in CGL, it's like, okay, yeah, we don't have prod, so we can't do the game.
My thing is just us not having games scheduled at the times we originally said, and then it's like, well, can't do a thing about it because what else are we gonna do?
Yeah.
Do you know what's crazy? Me and Fletch did not cast once this CGL season together.
Not yet.
You've been
Not-
asking me to
not
put
yet.
you with him, but like it'll be like 1 week he's available, you're not. The next week you're available, he's not.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, it has been fun. And then this week we were both available, but I had to do prod because nobody was available. Yeah, whatever the observers are doing, they need to come back. Recall them from the
It's
fields
land
in which
season,
they
that's
grow.
what it is.
Yeah, it's land season, and they're all good at what they do.
Yeah.
Doug, listen, all I'm saying is they better get off land because the freaking
It's gonna be
Mega-
a while. Like the NECC one that I'm doing in a month is like one of the last ones. So there's gonna be like lands happening like throughout like the next month.
Yeah. Like, there was one this weekend. Pretty sure there's one next weekend. And then, like, you have the one in the NECC one. ECAC
You
is
got,
like...
you got CECC May Madness at the beginning of May, and then you got NECC the week after.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like, it's a bunch of stuff coming up here soon. And it's just a very busy time. But, hey, I mean, I'm very happy that a lot of the people that we know are getting opportunities to do that.
Mm-hmm. 100%. It's
I'm
awesome
playing
to
with
see.
more LAN Overwatch.
Honestly, though.
Yeah. I mean, I want to see more of it. But, welcome back, everyone, to For the Love of Prod. This is episode 12. As always, I am joined by Huntertain and Megalass. And our guest this week is ToTryHardRay. Ray, man, I mean, you do a lot in a lot of different leagues. I feel like you do a lot with CGL. We all know you from there. But, like, how have you been, man? It feels like it's been a while. I know me and you have casted a little bit here recently, but how have you been overall?
Been pretty good. This season's been a little rough because I've had like sore throat like the last like 2 months. So it's been a little rough just trying to push through and still do all my casting gigs, but limit as much as I can. But seems like today is actually, it's been getting way better today, and I don't cast again. I mean, I'm doing this, but then I don't have to cast again until Friday, so it's pretty nice.
Yeah. Thank you so much for doing this. This is kind of a running joke with, like, you weren't the first person I asked this week. I actually asked 2 other people, but they were on vacation and on a work trip.
Dox them right now.
Solomon and T.
Wow. Well, that's boring. That's boring.
Oh, Solomon's gonna be a
Who
great
were
gift
you
for guys.
expecting, Mega?
I don't know. Like I was expecting like some WWE thing where it's like somebody's running in with like their money in the what is it, the money in the case or whatever.
Money in the bank.
Money in the bank.
Money in
Money
the
in the
bank.
bank.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
I'm
no.
here to cash in my money in the bank.
Yeah, this is all an elaborate bit. Ray's only going to be here for the first 5
Yeah, I'm
minutes,
only
and
here.
the real
Yeah,
cast is here after.
I'm only here for someone like Johnny Reinforce to come in and be like, "I'm here to cash in."
That would be funny to get him, but I think we are a long way away from him.
One
You
one
say
day.
that. You say that.
I mean, I say that, but we had Will English, which was someone I didn't expect to get on as soon as we did.
I love Will English.
Yeah, he was great to talk to, like really, really fun. And honestly, he like I've told them this, like if we hit that hour and a half mark, I'm just saying we're gonna go 2 hours, split up in half and have 2 episodes. I feel like if we let Will talk, we would have been able to do that easily. Like,
Oh yeah, for sure. Will's awesome. I had the opportunity to do a LAN with him a couple years ago. It was awesome.
yeah, but I mean, Ray, I don't know if you've ever watched or listened to the podcast here, but we normally ask 2 main questions, and then from there we just go on to whatever kind of topic comes up here. So the first question we always ask is, what got you into doing esports production?
Let's see. It kind of started with me playing Overwatch a lot and wanting to do more with it, and my friends weren't wanting to take it as seriously as I was. So, my buddy Upriser, he was a Masters GM player at the time, told me about CGL and tried out for a team and ended up making it. And, it was going good. And I was just, in gold and plat tier back in the day when they were just, arranged that way. And, we did fine. We made playoffs, never won the whole thing, but we were always a consistent playoff team. And then eventually I'm like, well, we're not good enough to win, but I like this. And I'm not good enough to climb to say, top 500, but I feel like I have a good grasp on the game. My hand skills are bad. I play on console. So I was like, let's try out this casting thing. And then CGL, was looking for some casters at the time. So I did a tryout with one of their casters and haven't looked back since.
I feel like that's the same story for like a lot of us, other than me. I know Hunter and Megalass were both basically in the boat of like, hey, yeah, we're going to play on these competitive teams or these teams in these leagues, and then kind of devolve into casting from there just because they generally like that a little bit better. I've said it once, and I'll probably say it 100 more times, at least on this podcast. I mean, I only tried out for my collegiate team. Basically, after the first tryout, realized I was fucking awful at the game and said, hey, do you need help anywhere else? To the esports director at the time, he said, do you want to be a caster? I'm like, sure.
Yeah, I mean, I never thought it would get as far as it has right now, but it's been quite the journey, and to continue. I never saw myself also getting involved in more than just Overwatch. So it's been nice getting involved in Pokemon and Marvel Rivals at this point. So I did not see all this coming, and it's just been an amazing journey so far.
Yeah, Hunter was talking about this actually before you joined up in the call, that you and him were doing the Marvel. I forget what it was. Rise of the Rivals.
Yeah, Rise of the Rivals. Yep.
Yeah, and I mean, I saw a lot of that. I mean, I commented on yours. I commented on Hunter's. I know one of our other friends and one of our other guests on this show, Joker, was a part of it as well. It's fun to see Rivals be a big like contender for esports very early on. I think it still needs a decent amount of work on the back end, like the game itself, but it's nice to see that there's a growing esports scene with it here very early on.
I couldn't agree with you more. Like even like NECC, they're adding Marvel Rivals to their catalog next season. And then even like I casted with Joker on Saturday for the event, and then Sunday they had me with Ashavak, who was one of the casters for season 1 of MRC, and it was really cool to see that, and especially with MRC just happening this past weekend as well. And it's awesome to see the esports scene be pretty popular right off the get-go. And yeah, as you mentioned, it's gonna need a lot of work, but I mean, if they can keep up the cadence release they've been going with content and new heroes and stuff like that, that game's gonna only continue to grow and be a very nice competitor to Overwatch.
Yeah, and I like that Overwatch finally has a competitor. But can I just say I think it's absolutely insane that they're going to be adding a hero every month. Or
Yeah, I
evolution?
mean,
So
No.
go ahead, Ray. Go ahead.
oh, I was just gonna say, though, I think it's just easier for them because they have a catalog of already made heroes. So it's like really just coming up with original abilities and stuff for them to do. Overwatch, they have to come up with here. What's the backstory this character had? Does it factor into our universe? All that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I don't know. It's sustainable for now, but I don't know if they can keep that up for as long as they're probably hoping for. That's my one concern.
Well, you could say the downside to the upside is we have this plethora of people we can make characters for. The downside is eventually there's going to be a limit. Like you will run out of people in your universe who you could make characters for. Overwatch, they can just keep adding more because they're creating and adding to this universe with backstories. They don't have an already set catalog that they're working with.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, like the Marvel universe is expensive, but like from a gameplay perspective as well, like it's almost going to create like the opposite effect of burnout. I fear at some point, where like if you are tank, or I think it's like Vanguard or whatever it's called in that game, right?
Yeah, Vanguard.
Like if you're having to learn a new character every month, obviously it's not going to be a tank every time, but like you're learning characters that consistently, it's going to wear on you. Like I'm expecting very high player turnover. It's not going to happen yet. I feel like we're still kind of in the honeymoon period, but like down the road, I could definitely see it.
It helps that they have, the ability, for the 2 tanks or whatever. So at least you have 2 players. And so it's not like you're solo tanking. I have to learn 50 tanks, a year from now. But yeah, for sure. I agree. The faster the cadence, the more heroes, the more you have to learn, all that kind of stuff. And the thing is, like, they're not even, it feels like they're more going into creating fun, awesome stuff, even if it's busted. They're not worried about Overwatch where it's like, well, how will this affect the meta in our esport? Or how will this do that? And I mean, with that, it's going to create some awesome, cool stuff, but it also could create a lot of frustrations.
Yeah, and
Like already I'm seeing people complaining Groot didn't get nerfed on this most recent patch.
yeah, and that's the thing. Once you make your game like be driven towards esports, you're always gonna have those people who are looking for like that specific thing, like nerf this character, buff this character. And my biggest fear is like you said, they can always go out and just grab a character from a huge universe. But at some point, it's gonna be like, okay, we've gone through all the like known characters and most of like the semi-known characters. Like coming into this game, I don't think that many people truly knew Squirrel Girl. But
I was actually going to bring up Squirrel Girl. I'm like, that's the one niche character they brought into the game and made extremely popular. So they'd have to hope they can find more success like that.
well, I would also say Jeff kind of falls in that same thing. But I mean, Jeff at least has the cute factor going for him in a lot of the comics that he was in before.
I don't know, man. A lot of people wanted to kill Jeff after those first couple of weeks. I remember very vividly how many people hated Jeff, and now everyone loves Jeff. At least I think they do. I hope they do. I don't know.
It's a love-hate relationship.
Like your average like competitive player hates Jeff because the hero is just miles behind what any other support would be. But your quick play lower warlords, they love Jeff because it's just Jeff. He's just a little shark. He's just doing his own thing, minding his own business. But
I even think the top tier players, they hate him and don't want him in their games, but they still stan him in the game in general. Like, oh, quick play Jeff, or lower tier Jeff is awesome, and they stan him. But as long as they don't see him in their games, they love Jeff.
It's like Lifeweaver in Quick Play. Perfectly fine. Comp? I'm gonna
actually a
fucking
great
find
comparison.
find your house and destroy it.
I was gonna literally make the statement that like Jeff is basically like the Lifeweaver of Marvel Rivals. It feels like.
No, that's a great comparison, actually.
They need to do something about Lifeweaver, man.
They'll do nothing,
They
and
will
we'll like
do
it.
nothing, and we will like. We won't like it, but we'll tolerate it.
Someone will like it, certainly.
no, listen, Lifeweaver can cook. Listen, Spectron is a vouch that Lifeweaver can cook because he saw me do it one time in one game. Now, granted, I didn't believe I was doing anything, but who knows, right? But
I've won a title off of like a Lifeweaver comp. I can never complain properly about Lifeweaver. I don't have the right.
Hold on, let me see if I can find. I can show you the exact moment I made fucking Spec hate Lifeweaver. I just have to find it.
I queue quick play with my old coach when I was playing, and they love to play Lifeweaver. I mean, in quick play when we're running Lifeweaver, you know, they're killing it, but we never dare play it in comp.
No, comp is where you have to bring it up.
Okay, Twitter isn't working.
Yeah, in comp, no, I will not touch Lifeweaver, but
No.
In comp, get your ass on Ana.
See that's what I do. Whenever I get like pissed off, people throw my games enough. I just I boot up an alt, I play Lifeweaver and like gold, and I just ruin everybody's fun. I'm just like, all right, I suffered, so now you must suffer.
Yeah, I can't. Twitter wasn't working. I can't pull up the clip. I don't know where it is. I don't feel like looking for it that hard either. I just pissed off Spec with Lifeweaver one time, playing quick play with I think a bunch of other people from CGL, and Spec honestly stopped playing the game for 2 minutes because of it.
I believe
that's hilarious.
Yeah.
I can see Spec getting triggered by something like that.
That's the thing. Spec, I don't know if he listens to this podcast, so I'll say this. You can get him mad off the dumbest stuff very, very easily. All you have to do is just keep up with it and make him believe you actually think whatever you're saying is true.
And I'm sure I could come with some horrible Overwatch take and make him think I believe it, and he'll get mad.
I remember I made him defend, it was SNO, I think, last season. We had, one of the games was, okay, everyone write down a hot take. We are going to give it to someone else to defend. And I said, when Tracer is meta, the game is subjectively worse. And he got that one. And he, as the Tracer one trick, had to talk about how when Tracer's good, the game is bad.
Man, this is a really great esports podcast.
Hey.
It is a great esports podcast. You're correct.
Well, Mega, thank you for giving us a break there.
Listen. But here's the thing, right? This is something. Here's your beautiful segue, right? Watch this craft. We always talk about how we're actually friends behind the scenes. These are just casual conversations that actually happen because we're just, we chill, we share stories about playing the game and stuff like that, and that's just kind of what happens a lot of the time behind the scenes. Every now and then you'll find somebody who is in and out, gets their money and dip, but you build bonds.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Gets their money and dips. Yeah, right. Who's getting a bunch of money and dipping out of esports?
All about that $2.
True. That's true.
All about that, $2 every maybe 5 cast. Some people want.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but it's a segue now. But Ray, first question is what got you in. Second question is what kind of keeps you coming back. I mean, you've touched on it a little bit here, but what keeps you coming back to do esports production and that stuff?
I mean, it's been a lot of expanding the games I play and knowing that there are esports for it, because I've never expected to get, I'm not trying to say I'm top tier or anything, but as good as I have at it to where I'm getting the gigs that I'm getting. So it's nice to be able to try and expand that and make yourself even bigger and better. So, I love playing Pokemon. I'm like, oh, Pokemon's got a nice little esport going over there. Marvel Rivals came out. Marvel Rivals keeps me. And then, just it keeps me wanting to play the games more, because obviously you have to know about the games a lot in order to cast it. So it's you can't take you could take a 6-month break, but you're going to have to do a lot of catching up on what's meta now, what heroes have come out in the meantime. It keeps me. I'm the kind of person who I hate single player games. I don't think they're bad games. I just hate playing by myself. I love playing with others. So it's nice. It brings a more social aspect, and I would be bored out of my minds, hating my life if I didn't have social video games to play.
Yeah, no, I'm kind of with you there as well. I'll play single player games from time to time, really like them, but they don't do the same thing for me. I
think it depends. I mean, I know everyone's different at the end of the day, but there will be sometimes where I could sit down and play like a Stardew Valley and just be lost in it for hours. And that's maybe just the fact that it's more of a cozy thing, more than just super story centric. I have to be locked in. I can just sit back here and just just drain hours away. Just being
Even
a
for
farmer.
me, even if I found like I got really hooked on Starfield when it first came out, but like I always wanted to be in a chat with someone talking, even if I was playing a solo game by myself. Like I don't know, I just sitting there by yourself with just the game on. I don't know, that never jives with me as well.
Yeah, I get that.
I mean, yeah, 100%.
Yeah. I mean, it's been a while since I played a single-player game, and I've fallen into this bad habit with single-player games where I get about 90 to 95% of the way through, and it's like, okay, I'm going to turn this off, go to bed, and finish this tomorrow. Boy, I have not, last time I played a single-player game, yeah, it's been about a year and a half since I touched the game. I'm on the final chapter of the game. Haven't beaten it.
Want to play a game that will keep your attention, that'll constantly just keep throwing random stuff at you, I will tell you now, go play a Yakuza or Like a Dragon game. Either play Yakuza 0 or play the first two Like a Dragons. Those are phenomenal games. And I recommend. I know they're crazy. Like, I'm sure y'all have maybe seen clips of them before.
Yeah.
Where there's just some insane stuff going on, but it keeps your attention. And it just allows you to discover a lot of different things and not have to be on like one strict path the entire time, which I think for some people, that's one of their main problems with these single player games, where it's just, hey, this is your locked path. Have fun, buddy.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, like, I have certain games where, yeah, I can kind of play on my own. Like, I can kind of play Pokemon, especially when the game first comes out. And, you just get locked in that. Or, I'm a big Spyro guy, so I can play Spyro on my own and stuff like that. But, even when things started getting, I was in a monotype tournament for Pokemon where I was like breeding the right Pokemon with the right IVs and trying to get it. But at the same time, I always wanted to be talking to someone while I do it, thinking out my strats or just casually talking. I guess you could say I'm just a pretty social person in general. I'm the kind of person who I hate texting. I'd rather just call you.
Yeah, I get that.
I can 100% understand that. I always like being in calls and just like, even just like pulling on my thing and just playing something in the background. Like, I can find the enjoyment in that and watching somebody on top of it as well.
I saw this video yesterday where it's talking about like when you're playing Minecraft and the conversation hits too hard and they're not even doing anything. They're just jumping from object to object around the room. I'm like, that is what I do when we're on Minecraft.
But going back to something you said at the start of your original statement here is like you never expected to get to the point where you are right now. And I don't think when any of us started casting, like we never expect to be at the point where we are right now. And it's always a weird thing because everyone kind of has a different like story of how they got to where they are. Like basically I'll always joke saying like I almost followed Hippie around for a year. Like if he was in a league, eventually at some point I would be in that league because he would need someone to fill, and I was always available. Mega, you said that you started in, I forget where was it?
It was Rose Cup, Rose Esports. I don't remember. They like rebranded halfway through because there was like this grand plan of we're going to make $1 million off of this Rose branding. But that was years and years ago.
Yeah, and Hunter, like, where did you necessarily get your start?
Oh, I started in leagues that do not exist anymore, like GG Esports Arena, Campfire Gaming, things that have been long since passed on. They have been old Yellered at least 5 years ago at least. Very much gone. But it gave me opportunity to just do something where I didn't have like a bunch of eyes and I could just practice and get better.
Yeah. 1 second of silence for all the leagues that have died.
I wish I had a hat. Oh, I do have a hat. I could do the classic, This goes out to them. This is for you, Campfire Gaming.
Man. Yeah, but Ray,
GG's League, man, that throws me back. That's like my first paid gig, I believe, was GG. That's actually where I met Sam Talks, and we started building that duo together. That's where I think things started going up to the next level, is meeting Sam and really growing as a duo with someone who I consistently casted with together. to the point where, we're getting VOD reviews with leg day together and stuff like that. Like that's where I think it started really going to the next level for casting.
And Sam is one of those people. Like I met him again about a week ago now.
Yeah, it's not at the
Winthrop.
Winthrop, the South, the land thing, right?
Yeah, and like Sam is honestly one of the best out there, in my opinion. The fact that he still hasn't been picked up by any like big league is a surprise to me, because he is excellent at what he does. And every time I see him, it's like, you should be doing this. You should honestly be. I mean, right now, I think he's been trying to get into challengers for Valorant. And I know one person he was working with a lot has made it again. And I'm just hoping that next time around he's able to get that, because he has put a lot into Valorant.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. I mean, like I said, he's kind of put Overwatch on the back burner to really focus on Valor, and then obviously World of Warcraft, and trying to do the race for worlds with different orgs and stuff like that. But he is absolutely fantastic. Wish I could cast with him on Overwatch more, but I take what I can get with him at this point.
Yeah, I mean, we had him for as the host for SNO last season, and it was great to have him be a part of that. Like, I think he's a good host. He was working on and really improving as the entire season went on, and I think it was just great that he was able to do at least something with Overwatch again. But Ray, I mean, like, we talk about you working all these different games now. Have you ever necessarily had this like feeling like, okay, I need to drop this game or these two games to really try to focus in on this one? Because that's definitely been something where, like, I've definitely considered, like, okay, I need to stop doing this one, go all in on this one, go all in on this game. Like, have you ever had that thought kind of in your head?
We'll see. I think with Rivals, it's just now starting to pick up. Like, I did the Battle for Asgard with Joker a couple weekends ago. And that one was a nice paid gig. And then we had the charity tournament one. I know, Oh God, Kate from that was talking about possible events in the future, possible lands and stuff like that from Marvel Rivals. I don't think either that or Pokemon have boomed enough to where I've had to worry about that yet. But it's definitely a possibility, especially Pokemon coming out with Pokemon Champions here in the future soon, where they're basically going to have like a dedicated battle simulator where you can craft your own teams and stuff like that. I think that's going to open the gates for more tournaments to be streamed, more tournaments to have casting for and stuff like that. So we'll see how Pokemon picks up. Like, I've already been talking with someone who's trying to stream more events out of New York who have live events there. So we'll have to see how busy it gets from there, especially also running the stream team for CGL. But as it sits, it hasn't happened, but I don't see myself getting to a point where that'll happen, only because, like, I have work and then I have esports. So it's like, once I'm at work, once work's over, it's like, all right, what's going on in Overwatch League? What's going on in OWCS? What's happening in Rivals? How's it going in Pokemon? And I have, because I'm so social and I always want to be talking with someone. Not everyone's always available. So I'll have a friend who's very invested in Pokemon. So I get a lot of my Pokemon information and knowledge when I'm hanging out and talking with them. And I get what I need. And and not all the events are happening at the same time. Like, I can glean a lot of information watching a Pokemon regional one weekend and then watching some playoffs for OWCS another weekend. So, but then again, who knows how it is for someone like, Mitch, who's like VCT and Overwatch, but he seems to make it happen. So if he can do it, I feel like we all can do it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, we had Hot Sauce on last week, who I feel like he talked about casting. It felt like at least 5 different games, 5 different titles. And, I've heard a lot of casters say, hey, when you're getting started, don't just lock yourself down to one game. Always try to do as many as you possibly can. Get some diversity in there, because while you might not think you'll be good at one, it might end up being like the game you're the best at casting. It might not be a game you play a lot, but if you understand it and are able to convey it, you might be able to find more opportunities in that game than, say, your favorite one.
Yeah, I agree 100%. we'll have to see if Pokemon Arrivals end up becoming that for me. But I feel like at this point, I probably play all the games pretty. I was even telling myself when Champions comes out, I might even delve into possibly entering a regional for Pokemon and stuff like that, doing some competitive for that. But I play the games pretty equally to where I'm not like Overwatch still the first game, my baby and stuff like that. But it's not like I'm gonna be like, man, I just love Overwatch so much. I really want to make it there while blowing opportunities in other games where it wasn't my first and it's not my absolute favorite, but I'd rather make it an Overwatch and not worry about the other games as much.
Yeah.
Especially in esports, you got to take your opportunities where you can at this point.
Yeah, especially at this point where it seems like, I mean, everyone that I was actually talking about this with Person Day, and we talked about it a little bit earlier with our observers and producers being able to do a lot of stuff, especially with land season happening right now. A lot of them are busy, and it's like I was talking with Person about it today, and it said like this is the first time early on in a year where I haven't seen a whole bunch of influx of like new producers, new observers that much. There are some there, but this isn't like normally I see 5, 6, 7. Maybe I've only seen 2 or 3 this early on in the year, and we're struggling in some leagues to fill roles for games so that we can broadcast them. It's because everyone that is normally doing it is off doing these big events because they've been working very hard at it. And I hope that there's always this influx of new people coming in because it's so great to get different people in and figure out or watch them like find their passion in this.
I couldn't agree more. And as you mentioned, always, there'll be times where, you mentioned, getting opportunities in any game you can, there'll be, where you see a gig come up and you're like, there's Mario Kart esports. So you're like, what? Like Switch 2 is coming out. I'm probably going to get that. I'm going to have Mario Kart, maybe I'll take a Mario Kart opportunity where I can. So it's like, just always keep your minds open. I mean, even Soav was posting about Splatoon. I'm like, I don't even know Splatoon. I'm like, Splatoon esports? Okay.
I love Splatoon. I don't know enough about the meta to necessarily say like, hey, yeah, I want to cast this, but I would have put myself down for that one that Soav was talking about, but I think I was signed up for CGL that night or something else was going on. But I mean, here let's focus on what you do with CGL at the moment. Where I mean, me and Hunter were talking about it before you came in. You're the main person who schedules the production side of it, right? You're setting up casters, you're setting up producers, you're setting up observers. I imagine there might be some help, but you are the person who's normally pinging the channel saying like, hey, sign up, please.
Yes, that is correct. It is. It has been quite a season for that. Normally, in past seasons, especially with prod and OBS, it feels like it's never been this big of a problem. But this year, man, it feels like it's slim pickings when it comes to that. It's been tough, and most of the time, I don't really have much on that. Normally, I just set the schedule, and then like if Hippie finds people and update stuff or whatever, he'll go and update it. If it'll be someone says, "Oh, I can't make it," they can. He knows I work during the day, so he'll go and update it for me. But yeah, I set the main schedule at the beginning of every week.
Yeah, and I imagine for producers and observers, and I might be wrong about this, it's a little bit easier just to kind of like say, hey, there's a producer here, let's sign them up. There's an observer here, let's get them in this game. But when it comes to casters, is it a little bit harder for you to necessarily make that pairing because you want to try to find maybe 2 people that have worked together in the past or 2 people you think will work together good? Like, what is it?
Yeah.
Is it hard to do that for casters, or is it hard to do it for the observer and producer?
It's harder to do it for casters for sure. The prod, just because there's not many people, and with our prods and observers, they have varying degrees of variability. So normally it's pretty clear cut. Hippie's doing this stuff, Echo's doing this stuff. Unfeatured and Headrammer fill where they can. For casters, it's tough because like I like the number of casters we have and it's great. And then there's also people who want to come in, but I don't want it to get too many because I like being loyal to the people who have been here and been doing it. And so I don't like scheduling people more than twice a week on the schedule. So I try and just work with that, and then obviously during the week, EU is slim pickings. Like Nia is one of the few people who can actually do EU during the week, especially early in the week, like Tuesday, like Wednesday, Thursday. So their spots are pretty solidified, but like Nia's very new, and I know Mega's been working with that, and bear with me, Mega, on that. I've been trying to spread the love and have different people work with different things, but sometimes with those early EU weeks, it's like, wow, I have two people who can do it, and it's these two.
Well, yeah, no, like whatever ends up getting scheduled, and like people got to learn, right? They got to find their time and things like that.
Yeah, that's the other thing. The one thing I will say is, don't really want to, with who was previously co-streaming with, who was the co-stream lead with me previously, Chef Billy, who had you stepped down for reasons. Anyway, Billy was very good about making people do VOD reviews and getting with people and doing that. I need to get better about making sure that happens. It's just been so chaotic this season. I'm trying to get the schedules, if we had like a plethora of prod people where I could easily just on Sunday, Monday night, just bam, 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 bam. Okay, schedule set, we're good. Don't have to worry about finding any fills. Then you could be like, okay, let's get some VOD reviews in for people. But I think that's going to be very important for a lot of the new people who are here, for them to continue to get better. And VOD reviewing is so, so important. If it wasn't for, me VOD reviewing with like LaFawn and Leg Day and Door and all those, like I would not be where I am without that kind of help.
Yeah, and that's been something like we've talked about on this podcast before, where it's like VOD reviewing is so important, and then there's always the asterisk that we tack onto it, saying we haven't done that yet this year at all. And
I haven't either. It's been on my mind. Like, man, I need to get a VOD review with someone.
Yeah, and it's just difficult right now because there's a lot of stuff going on. You have a lot of casters that I would normally look at, say, let me reach out to them, do a VOD review. They're doing Face It stuff. I don't want to disrupt that. I don't want to take that away from them because they truly love doing that. And then the other ones just like, well, they haven't done anything in a while, so I don't know if necessarily they're available to do anything like that. But yeah, VOD review is something so important. Like by this time last year, I think I'd already done two, one with a play-by-play and one with a color caster, just to try to figure out what I needed to improve on. But we're now 7 days into the fourth month of the year, and it's like, oh yeah, I haven't done a single one just yet.
Yeah, and I think with the way esports has been solidifying, like, okay, to me, back in the Owl days, it was very clear cut. Like, Leg Day was Owl. I could ask him, but he's a very busy guy. Then there was the contenders casters. Like, okay, I can ask Kenobi, I can ask LaFawn, I can ask Door, I can ask these people. Now with everything so mixed up, like I said, I haven't seen Door in a while. Not sure if he's really in a spot for that. LaFawn hasn't casted in a while. So the pickings are, it's like, okay, I still have Leg Day I could ask. I've built a relationship with him anyway, so that's probably always an avenue to go down. But then after that, it's not like there's really a contender scene anymore. It's like there's Bull Skunk, but I kind of cast with him, so it's like it's weird to ask someone who you frequently cast with to do a VOD review. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, Dex, that reminds me. Can you VOD review me next week, man? I'd appreciate it.
Is that
it would make sense? Like, it makes sense if Dex
question?
was like, "Hey, Jeff, can you VOD review me?" Because it makes sense. Like, you don't really cast with him. He's doing Face It stuff. It kind of makes sense to me. I'm like, I casted with him last week, and we'll see what happens with Tiny if she can do Friday. But I might cast, NECC finals with him on Friday. Who knows?
Oh, nice.
That's really awesome. It was. Go ahead.
No. You because I was gonna transition topics. You go
no.
or.
I was gonna say real quick. It was surreal watching Bull Skunk on the Overwatch esports channel for Face It this weekend. I just gotta throw that out there.
That was awesome.
Major props. It was awesome to watch. That was my point.
Like, I love that he's getting the credit that he honestly deserves, because he was by far the biggest or the most consistent person covering just Face It League last season.
It was so funny because we were having a meeting for our NECC LAN we're doing next month. Me and him will be casting for that. But he was just like, I don't know. Did you see the announcement? I think my rate might be going up. But it's so awesome for him. I'm so happy for him.
Oh god. I think there's only one time I ever had to say like, okay, hey, what's your rate? I was like, fuck, man, I don't know. I don't know what's a good rate for me. But here to kind of like half transition a topic here, we're talking about getting VOD reviewed. Ray, has anyone ever asked you to VOD review?
Yes, I have VOD reviewed 2 people before.
And I've done it with one person, and I realized like the next day, going back and kind of thinking about, it, I was like, wow, I really didn't tell them that much, and I felt so fucking bad, and I don't think they haven't casted a lot since, and it's because they're doing a lot of other stuff, but it's just like I feel bad that you came to me asking like, hey, how can I improve? How can I improve? And I thought I tried my best. Maybe I did, but there's definitely some like glaring oversights I just didn't fucking touch on.
I mean, there's always going to be that. I always like to just, based on what I'm seeing, try and give them a good takeaway on what they can improve the best on for the next time. Because like, obviously, there's always going to be more than one thing. Like, excuse me, like first time I came to leg day, it was like he gave me like 1 or 2 things. But then when me and Sam came together with him, he gave me another thing specific. He's like, wow, you've gotten better, but here's this thing to work on with just Sam. And it's like, you always give them one thing that they can come back to you and say, hey, I've worked on this. What's the next thing I should work on? So I think for mine, I've learned a lot from leg day. Leg day was all about boiling the fights down to, this versus this. Like, oh, this fight's going to come down to, this team trying to take the high ground away versus this team needing to push the issue and use their ult early or something like that. Like, you always want to phrase it like, if this team does this, good things. If this team does this, good things for them. So I like that. Normally, because I normally get a bunch of beginners because, I'm not leg day where I'm going to have, like one of us come to them who we've been casting for a while. So with the beginners, that tends to be a good first step for them is at the beginning, you tend to be super focused on looking at, look at all those blue check marks if it's Overwatch and getting overwhelmed by it. It's like, just boil it down to a couple simple things.
Yeah. Hunter, Mega, has anyone asked you guys to do a VOD review with them before?
Not a VOD review. Asked for like advice on certain things, 100%, but never like an actual sit down. Like, hey, let's watch through your thing, and like, try to break it down like that. Never before. Do I think it'll happen? Flip of a coin, maybe, but not quite yet.
See, for me, has anyone ever asked for a VOD review? No. Have I sat people down and said, I'm VOD reviewing you? Yes. That has happened. But like genuinely, the biggest thing I can say, because like, for BPL for the longest time, I was like the trainer caster. Like Solomon knew he could put me with anyone and just be like, listen, they're new, let them work stuff out type deal. And, giving them that one piece of advice, like Ray said, like, if you give them too much at once, if you critique every little thing, it's going to overwhelm them and it's going to make them be like, oh, I don't want to do this. I'm awful at this, right? Give them one thing at a time, like drip feed it, let them improve at their own rate. Because, some of them will surprise you. They'll literally be able to like turn around and like within like a week or two be like, okay, I've completely fixed this issue. What's another thing to work on? Things like that.
Like, I can tell you, there is one very famous caster out there who is well known for breaking down your spirit and making you question if you even want to cast after that. I don't think that's ever how you should feel after a VOD review. So I've always tried to, tell them as many positives as I can, but like, hey, this is your major thing you need to work on for next time to really get better. And that's kind of where it's at.
I definitely know who you're talking about because I don't think you're the first caster I've heard say, yeah, I had a VOD review with this person and they made me question everything.
I'd never VODed. I almost was going to get one with that person and I was told, no, don't do it.
Here, we're talking around it, but let me just ask this question. You've said their name already during this entire conversation once, right?
No.
Oh, okay, then we're thinking of completely different people.
Oh.
Like I've heard other casters say like leg day will do that to you.
What are
Really?
you crazy? Who
I
told
might
you that?
I might be wrong, and I might like
Wow.
I'm fucking terrible with names.
You're being lied
Man,
to, or
I
you're
am-
misremembering.
I'm
these.
misremembering.
Dude,
something.
leg day is awesome
Listen,
to VOD review with.
I'm
He's
I'm
so,
misremembering.
like-
Just completely forget what
I-
the hell
Well,
I just said.
he's got the British vocabulary, so he's gonna be like, "What the fuck was that?" You know, colorful vocabulary, but he's not, being mean spirited about anything.
Yeah, I think at this point I'm just misremembering it. Like, but I've definitely heard other casters say like, yeah, I had a VOD review with this person. It's like,
I can tell you, I had a VOD review with LaFon once where there was this one bit during a cast I had where I went on this tangent and basically talked for 20 seconds without actually saying anything. And then the fight went on. He was like, "You were doing so good. I don't know what the heck was that. Like, you just ruined, like." And then afterwards, like after it was over, he like messaged me. It was like, "I feel like I was way too harsh on you. I'm so sorry." I'm like, "Dude, I played football growing up. Like, I have heard way worse. Like, do not worry about it." Like, but people, you got to be worried about that sometimes.
yeah, absolutely, because you don't want to just fucking crush the spirits of someone who came to ask you for help.
Oh, make them cry. Like that's no. I'm of course joking because like
that's
again,
how you weed out the weak right there.
Doug, like there surely are some people who think like that, and that's what drives me crazy. Like if you were truly threatened by like little Timmy who just showed up on his first ever cast, like then no offense, that just shows insecurities in your own casting. Like
Yeah, that's the
people
other thing
want-
I always try and be worried about. If I try and gauge where I personally feel like I am relative to all the other casters, because like I don't want that situation to happen like Mega's talking about, where I come to someone who I might be just there with them or maybe about to pass them on the rung of casters, and then they feel a certain way about it, and I don't ever want to be in that situation either.
Yeah. You talk about like the rung of casters and like a tier list of them. There's been multiple times where I've thought like, hey, what if there was a caster's ranking like college football? I'm like, actually, you know what? No, I don't want that. I do not want that at all.
To me, it's not
Fuck
even
that.
about that. It's mostly just about like, yes, your skill matters, but it's also like the types of gigs you're getting and like where you're just falling in between all of that. Like, obviously, OWCS is one level, and then you got like your Overwatch collegiate casters and your Face It people, and then like your collegiate casters after that, and then it just starts going down like that.
Yeah, and I mean, there's a lot of people that we know that are in that Overwatch collegiate thing, or collegiate scene, and like you're going to cast here soon at a LAN. I know another one. He's up in like he doesn't know if he's not. I'm talking about Jesse or Twin Salty.
Yeah, Twin Salty's awesome.
Yeah, great caster. I
know
know
he does NECC with me and stuff like that. Yeah,
I know he's been talking about he doesn't know if he's going to be casting at the LAN. He's going to be there no matter what. I hope he's casting it because he puts so much effort into collegiate Overwatch, especially with Okra or
yeah. I heard he was. We'll see though. Like I was hearing from the person he's supposed to cast with that he probably is, but we'll see.
I'm happy then because like I feel like with how much effort he puts into it, he should at least have at one cast at the minimum there.
Yeah, I wanted to make it out there for CECC, but with NECC happening the next weekend, I mean, I don't have to travel. It's here in San Antonio where I live, but still, it's just a weekend where I have to commit paid time off from my work and stuff. Don't really want to do that 2 weekends in a row. And I went last year, so it's not that big a deal.
Yeah, I need to get out to one of those because the setup just looks insane, especially for a collegiate LAN.
Yeah, it's awesome. So I'm excited because we have a new Techport stadium that we're hosting NECC out here in San Antonio that we're looking forward to showing. It was the final season of Owl. No, was the final? I don't know if it was final. It was when Dante first made his debut on Tank on Doomfist for the Battle of Texas. That was at our Techport Center arena. You said what, Mega?
that was season 5.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, season 5. Yeah.
I immediately knew it. Our Owl historian.
I know far too much about Owl. I know far too. Now, listen, you want the real historian facts? Like you were talking about it earlier, and I had to resist mention it. Like Ray, let's chat Pokemon sometime. I will yap for days on end.
Like
I was
Pokemon
there.
esports, like Wolfie and all those
Dog,
people and stuff like
esports
that.
playing the game, fucking name it, dog.
Oh yeah.
I was walking around in Gen 6. I was one of those, we were chilling, we were vibing.
We'll see. My buddy Upriser is quite the yapper on Pokemon. We'll see if you're on his level. He's always asking me for advice on his teams.
Wait, speaking of that, we had user intel on, and he was talking about Pokemon. He said that there was someone in New York or someone near him that was setting something up. I imagine that because he did say you, Mega. Did he ever reach out to you about that?
I have to double check. It's highly possible he did. I did not see anything.
Yeah, user got me my first Pokemon gig actually. Well, it was paid, but yeah, I mean, he was awesome, local Philly. But yeah, he DM'd me immediately as soon as that event was going. I didn't get to do the one event that he was specifically talking to me about. They had already filled it, but I've already talked to the person that he sent the contact information for, and they plan to do a bunch more events in the future.
Yeah, no, it's just probably like a forgotten the moment type deal. I'll reach out, buzz him because again, like Pokemon, that literally used to be my whole world. It still kind of is. Like I boot up Pokemon on the regular. I'll load up Showdown even though that's not the official VGC format.
I mean, Showdown is until Pokemon Champions comes out. That's why I plan to make a resurgence when Champions comes back on. Because the thing about me is, as much as I love Pokemon and competitive, I hate grinding for my Pokemon, for my IVs, my EVs, my moves. Like, I was surprised I even did the monotype tournament that I did because I had to breed so many Pokemon. And it caught me at a good time in my life where I was willing to do all that. I am not anymore. Like it's a lot. And Champions is going to alleviate a lot of that.
It definitely will, but also, like, I'm here to tell you, the few times I actually ever attempted anything in VGC, because again, I'm more a fan of singles than I am VGC, like, it was purely with rental teams in Gen 8, like, Gen 8 and Gen 9. Like, I just was not going to be asked to go, like, actually make my own Pokemon.
Yeah, the monotype tournament I did was singles, so it was pretty awesome. We each had to pick our own type. So, like, I had poison type, so I had to build a monotype team with poison.
Oh, you were probably working. This is Gen 9, right?
You said what?
It was Gen 9.
It was Sword and Shield, yeah.
Oh, Sword and Shield, so Gen 8.
Yep, Gen 8.
I'm trying to think of like what you'd grab for a mono poison. This is segueing off the rails. But,
no, this is fine. I think me and Hunter are both enjoying this conversation.
Yeah,
I'm literally just sat here like trying to think of what you would put on a mono poison
my
team.
A lot of it, Mega, was stalling with Toxapex with toxic spikes, and using like Sheer Force Nidoking.
Sheer Force needed, Sheer Force, Life Orb, Ice Beam, Ice Beam, Earth Power, Sludge.
You change your moves based on who you're going against because you know what monotype they are. But yeah, it's fun.
Yeah. See, because immediately the first one that pops into my mind is fucking Reveroom, but that's Gen 9, so he just didn't exist yet. And I'm like, damn, Steel Poison would have gone crazy on that team.
I mean, Drapion was probably one of my best Pokemon on that team for that.
That's
generation.
True. Oh, you had. Bro, you had the sniper probably. You were just doing whatever.
Well, and psychics, one of your weaknesses. So having immunity to it is huge for switching and stuff like that.
Do you ever use a Alolan Muck on that team? Because that motherfucker's a demon, especially with Stall.
I don't think they were in. Were they in Gen 8? I don't remember.
Oh wait, that's actually good. I always forget about the Dex cuts. I'm like, oh yeah, just fucking use anything, right? It's just sometimes the mobs just aren't there. No, but listen.
Yeah. Are we going off the rails too much, Dex?
Yeah,
possibly. Fine. This is fine.
I'm having a blast.
Yeah, no.
Listen, I told you, like, listen, Pokemon, like, I could sit here and talk teams for days. Like, this is literally, I love it.
Casting Pokemon's crazy, man, because, like, you have to think about, like, there's so many decisions each player in Pokemon can do when it comes to against each other. As a caster, you kind of have to, like, know all those options and be able to, like, talk out and, like, okay, well, they could look to do this, but the other person could respond and do this, so that might be bad for you. Like, you got to be able to, like, Doctor Strange, see all the futures that are going to go down.
Yeah, no.
But that's what makes it fun.
Yeah. But like, I'm never gonna get mad when we go off on these tangents. And like, I've talked to both Hunter and Mega about this. I hate when sometimes it seems like it's just me talking to the guests and they're there. So at any point when Hunter and Mega get their time to just go off and have just talk, it's like, yeah, I'm gonna let this go. They're having like they're talking about something they're very passionate about, and I'm just gonna let them run. So I'm perfectly fine with that Pokemon conversation we just had right there.
Gonna get Dex on Showdown one of these days. Mark it.
You should. They do it occasionally for VPL. Honestly, you should try it one of these times.
See, but VPL I ever just
I played a fucking Showdown League. I suck.
See, the thing is,
played a Showdown League.
Yeah, my brother.
I did one of the BPL Showdown leagues, casted for BPL, and like, it was fine, but I don't know, man. Like, Showdown just doesn't do it for me. Like, I want like the actual game with the 3D models. Like, I don't know. Like, I just wasn't into it as much.
I mean, that's fair.
I don't blame you.
Yeah, no.
So remember. Go ahead, Hunter.
I would say y'all are worried about competitive Pokemon this weekend. I'm worried about competitive Balatro. All right. You're looking at the champion coming this weekend. You're looking at the future champion before your eyes, all right?
Doug, I don't know shit about Balatro, but I'll show up just to like cast a curse you. You got it, buddy.
Fantastic.
But no, specifically like with what's it called? I remember there was one BPL draft league that like, cause draft leagues are supposed to be more chill, more fun. I kind of like accidentally ruined it. I kind of was just beating kids too hard, and so it just ended up disbanding halfway through. I was like, oh, that's tragic.
That's the other thing, man. They have like, there's a lot of the competitive players and casters who do a draft league, and I watch it online. But like, I've always wanted to do one, but like, you have to know like what you're getting. Like as you mentioned, like I'd love to do a BPO one, but as you mentioned, it's supposed to be like not sweaty. If I was in a draft league, I'd be going sweaty. So it's like you got to find the right people who are doing your draft league to where like you can put full effort into it.
I got you.
Yeah, like the one Showdown league I'm in is a draft league with a lot of my brother's friends who are way more into Pokemon than me. So I normally suck. Let me see if I can find like the entire fucking team sheet that I have.
I was gonna say, pull up the team sheets. Let me cook somebody's team real quick. Let me see what they're working with.
I will let you cook my team. It's gonna be. Oh my god, it's very small because the team sheet's fucking huge.
Yeah, no, that's how draft league formats are. Like they always have the giant Google Doc. You got to scroll like 4 times to see everything.
Yep,
that's just how it is.
Okay,
that's the way we live out here.
It is. Okay. It is going to be in general in a moment.
I thought you were just going to put it up on screen. I thought you were going to let the viewer.
I will put it up. I will put it up on screen here. I just need to put it in general first.
Oh, is this your team? The hell, bro? They were allowing Miraidon, Zasha.
Dude, you guys are allowed restricted. That's crazy.
Wait, hold up. You got these 7 Mons and you went 3-7? Nah, wait, Dex.
I don't know. I'm not the best at Pokemon. Like, so my brother was making my teams for me, and I would go in
singles or doubles.
Doubles.
Oh,
Jeez,
okay. Wait,
you should be killing with this team, bro.
I was gonna say, listen, get the coaches up in there. We'll figure it out.
Gyarados Intimidate for pivots.
You
got Goldango who can make it rain.
Here. Wait, let me. Fuck.
You got Whimsicott for follow me strats. Oh my goodness.
Let me go to the best team in the league.
I would say this team, especially. See, I'm seeing so many single strats with this team as well. But if it's
this was
doubles,
the best, this was the best team in the league.
Well,
Calyrex Shadow Rider makes sense.
Let's see.
Oh, you pulled it up here.
Oh my gosh, Shadow Rider and Zamazenta. My goodness.
Lando T up. We love Lando out here. It's 2020. Dog, genuinely speaking, you want to know the best way to sum up competitive Pokemon? If you've been here since like 2013, it's Landorus. Like it's just like in 2016, you could say Incineroar, but Landorus is just that guy. I don't know. That man will never leave. He's just the GOAT.
Couldn't agree with you more. I mean, I do think, as the years go on, if they don't, ever fix Incineroar, Incineroar is always going to be that viable Pokemon. Landorus is always going to depend on the regulation, but oh man, Incineroar is just always going to be busted. Which we'll see with champions. With champions, they have the ability to make tweaks to Pokemon that doesn't affect the main game.
I mean, well, to be fair, they did just hit the what's it called? Or wasn't there like a supposed nerf before Gen 9 that didn't actually go through, where people were thinking you could only intimidate once per battle or something, like it wouldn't
Yeah.
reactivate. Which,
That would
by
be
the way, I would say that's probably the best way to do it. Is just make it so it can't reactivate.
Mm.
There's just Pokemon's amazing. Like for a quote unquote kids game, like there's actually so much depth, and you can just do so much nerd stuff with it. You pull out the calculators, friggin' load up Showdown, think that you're the smartest player in the world, build some godlike team, and then get shit on by a fucking like Comfey for some reason, and you're just sad.
The first season that I was a part of this league, I put up John Stockton like numbers with a Luxray. It had 117 assists. The next closest person had like 52. Hello, dog.
Hello, dog.
Dog.
Dog, I'm building an OU team right now. I'm like I've just yelled like we've just yapped Pokemon too much. Now I gotta cook something.
A CGL off-season tournament staff draft league.
I like listen. I would have to like genuinely
I don't
chill.
think you want to
have
drag
no.
yourselves into that with me and Mega.
I was gonna say like me and Ray straight up might have to like skip the first 2 rounds just to make it fair or something.
If you two are gonna be the 2 biggest problems, I'm fine with that because there'll be other people there who are just there to have some fun.
Doug, I feel like listen, I'm not trying to call anybody out here, but I feel like Joker would be the type of dude who knows nothing about Pokemon, but he would like unironically hyperfixate and like get really, really sweaty with it. I could see it.
He would draft Pokemon based off how they look. They would not work together at all, but he would somehow just never die.
I feel like I would just run Fear and then see how long that lasted.
Okay, no, you need to. Bro, we're not playing Gen 1 no more. Come on now.
Okay, here.
We're not running Fear strats.
Okay, here. How about this, guys? Just to get back on topic for our final topic, do you guys have any questions here for Ray? Anything you want to know about what he does?
Bro asked that like he's like we're at career day or something.
Honestly, though,
I mean, we've talked about Pokemon for almost 15 minutes. Okay, that's a quarter.
No. I'm down to get it back on topic. I'm just saying the way you asked that was really funny. That's all I'm saying.
I didn't know how to. I didn't know how to properly transition it.
No, okay, so here, check it, right? Actual question for, like, specifically to deal with stream team lead stuff for CGL, right? Because you have a very delicate balance to manage, especially with the casting side, right? Where there's probably constantly people saying, hey, can I get it? Or, hey, can we add this person? And stuff like that, right? And you don't want to overflood and have too many casters, because then nobody's going to get any casts. They'll get, like, maybe 1 a week, and it just sort of... It feels wrong because, like, you know, there's just too many people about. You can't control the quality and stuff like that. Like, how do you manage that with trying to tell people, like, hey, listen, let this person grind up or something like that? Or do you just try to shut people down?
So when it comes to bringing in new people, the ways that get, you know, either they'll ask something in questions, you know, someone will be like, hey, you know, how do I become a caster or whatever? Or how do I go about this? And then there's also like Echo might recommend someone, or like Thormew was a recommendation from Echo. I can't remember if you were, Mega. I know you got recommended by someone. I just can't remember.
Well, no, I sneaked into CGL. I like Zeuser needed to fill for a playoff game in season 11, and I kind of just snuck my way in and stayed.
Same.
Okay.
honestly, that's what became.
We all snuck our way into CGL.
See, I snuck my way back into CGL.
Oh, so I'm the only one who did a tryout with one of the casters and got picked from that.
Yeah, did not do none of that.
I just had done previous stuff. It was like seasons, like I think it was 7 and 8 at the time. Disappeared for a while, and I came back like, "Hey, you guys need somebody?" It's like, not right now, but we'll message you soon. And now I'm here.
But yeah, so normally, what I do is I'll just kind of be paying attention each week to week. Like am I having, consistent casters? Am I having a lot of people who are having to call out last minute and we're having to have, certain people do 3-4 times a week? Then I'm like, okay, maybe we should look to bring in one person. I'll normally, if I don't have any recommendations, then I'll go into, people who have asked. I don't like taking brand new casters in unless we've just started a season, to where they have a whole season of casting to be able to grow and get better. Like, there'd be plenty of people like, I want to cast. Like, have you casted before? No. Do you have a mic and camera? No. I'm like, okay, well, get all that and come back to me. Because at this point, CGL is at a point where we used to be okay with, oh, I don't have a camera, I don't really have this. CGL's to a point where we expect a certain level of quality. So I'm like, bottom line, you at least got to have a camera and a mic. Like, you may not, be, super, what's the word? Like, polished as a caster, but you have a camera, you have a mic, and you have an idea of what you're talking about. You can always get better. So, right now, like, let's say a couple weeks ago, I think I did bring in one new person these last couple of weeks, but they didn't get on the schedule because they were busy the last week. There was someone Echo recommended. They were on the schedule, D'Lo. So D'Lo was someone I brought in, and can't remember if you had worked with them, Echo, I think, or Mega. I think Mega mentioned you have worked with them.
I worked with them over at the TEC.
Yeah, so brought him in. We'll see how that goes, but I'm just I don't want to be like, okay, let's bring in 5 people, and then Mega's like, what the heck, I can't get any spots or whatever. Especially when playoff comes around, I want like our best people who have been casting and know the teams who can give a better show when it comes to playoffs.
Yeah, and like
Makes sense.
Yeah, I mean it does.
Yeah.
But I mean, and that's one thing I've always liked about CGL is like, especially these past couple of years, where you guys have made it a big like point in it. Like, hey, if you want to cast midseason, if you want to cast playoffs more than 1 or 2 times, like cast in the regular season and cast regularly, and it don't just like do it one time and then think you're good to go once we get to the midseason or the end of season playoffs here. And I really enjoy that, but like, I mean, especially like you said, you try to bring people in at the start of seasons. Does it ever bother you, like when you have someone who is saying like, hey, I would love to cast. They come in, they maybe do 1 or 2 the first week, and then they kind of just like disappear after that?
Yeah, if that happens, like, I'll probably allow them. Let's just do midseason, for example. They're definitely not getting a grand final. They might get like a quarterfinal or something like that. Like, at least they've casted before, but I'm not giving any grand final to anyone who hasn't casted a bunch. Regular season playoffs, when we get there, is going to be a little bit tougher. I had to get with Hippie because we were able to save some money during mid-season because we didn't get to cover as much because of the amount of producers we had. So there's a possibility if a bunch of grand finals line up on the same day, we might do a SNO for it. We'll see. But because the regular season, it's like a lot more games for the playoffs. They're just going to be popping up out of nowhere, and it's like we are producer. Sometimes it's like, well, someone who probably wasn't casting that much is probably going to find their way in somehow, and well, nothing we could do. We needed that game filled anyway.
Yeah, and I mean that makes sense. Hearing SNO,
but generally speaking, want to give it to the people who put in the work.
Yeah, absolutely. But hearing SNO and the possibility of like a comeback for grand finals would be fun. And like, I would almost go as far as like I would love to do SNO even if it was like for free for a grand finals. But I understand there's a lot of work that goes into that for everyone else that's not on camera. I completely understand that to the point where they should be getting paid for that. So, and one last thing with SNO and FNO, like. I imagine you were in those conversations when Hippie and Headrammer were kind of getting that going. I mean, what was that like to try to do a show like that, especially at this level of Overwatch esports?
You mean like, obviously we're not Owl, but we're kind of putting on a production as if we were kind of thing. Well, the first part was always going to be especially when we first launched, was launching with like the most recognizable CGL faces. So like Billy, Bull Skunk, me, Joker, even if you were playing and you came back and you were a season 5 person, you at least recognize Billy and Bull Skunk. And then from there it was about making sure to have fun with it, but making sure it didn't feel like we were doing it just to do it. Like there was a reason people were knowledgeable. They knew the teams. And just making sure it was always super high quality. I mean, Hippie's the man. He really came up with, the whole flow and all the graphics and stuff like that. So really awesome about that. And then obviously with the production that was that intensive and, to where it's like, oh, we got to prepare stuff beforehand, like games, and we got to prepare this beforehand and that beforehand. It was going to require a budget, and Headhammer was able to come through with it for that particular season. But hoping that eventually in the future we can bring it back.
Yeah,
like I said, possibility of it for a grand finals. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, I mean, I completely understand if it doesn't happen for a grand finals. I mean, the possibility of it coming back for later seasons is, great. I think we all enjoyed it every time we were on it. But again, it's something where we all understand. Like we all understand the budget of what SNO and FNO was, and like I give a lot of props to Headhammer for saying, yeah, let's run this back a second time last season, because that was just insane when you really start to think about it. And how much?
Yeah, when we started, like me and Hippie had like a budget that Headhammer gave us. And we were budgeting out different things. When we ended up deciding to cut SNO, like we were looking into it, we're like, wow, we didn't realize how much money actually went into that show. We're like, oh, geez.
Yeah. And again, thank you, Headhammer, for that. Like that was a great experience, just doing something like that.
Oh, 100%. It was awesome. I mean, I got hosting experience like that. Yeah. That's invaluable type of experience you can get.
Yeah, and like
getting.
Go ahead.
Oh, and I was gonna say getting desk experience was a lot of fun. I was on it like a few times, especially like the first time around, which was just a new perspective because I'm the yelly guy. I'm the play-by-play guy that just yells when cool things happen. It was nice to sit down and be like, all right, let's talk as if I actually know what the hell's going on here. And it was just a really fun experience.
Yeah. I felt like every time I was on the desk, it was like, oh yeah, I don't know what I'm doing here. Like, I felt like if I stared at the camera too long, it would be awkward. If I stared away, it would be too awkward as well. I didn't necessarily know when to start talking. It was weird.
And well, luckily, like our host, like especially like Sam, like getting used to that. Like Sam was really good about pacing everything perfectly and giving everybody like equal opportunity to chime in.
Yeah, absolutely. But guys, we've crossed the hour mark. A little bit ago. Any final thoughts, statements, questions, short ones you guys want to ask Ray?
I'm actually trying to think. There's definitely a very interesting question in there somewhere.
Yeah,
there has to be.
Mega, I saw the VTuber's mouth moving, but I didn't hear you say anything. Are you muted?
That might be
Discord. Yes. I love Discord. My Discord does this funny thing where it mutes me. No, I just said listen, I love you, Ray, but I'm really hoping this ends because I'm hungry.
That's crazy.
Okay, but hey, well, Ray, any final thing?
Thank you guys for having me. And yeah, go esports. It's awesome.
Hey, thank you so much, Ray, for being available here tonight. But everyone, that will do it here for this episode of For the Love of Prod. Again, thank you so much, Ray, for coming out. As always, thank you, Hunter and Megalass, for being on this as well. But that'll do it for this week. Make sure you tune in next week where, this is the same spiel as always. I don't know who it's going to be, but it'll be someone. See you next... Fucking hell. See you next Tuesday. I can't do these. I can't fucking sign off.